And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit. Like God's property, it's hard to market. So we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target. Cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the
This gentleman right here. Huh? What happened? No, this the gentleman right here with the camera in his hand. Wave your hand. Pastor.
James Wesley Carr.
Yeah, James Wesley Carr. No. What's your name?
Oh, Kelly Richardson.
Kelly Richardson.
Pastor Kelly Richardson.
He is a great grand nephew.
Yeah.
Nephew of one of our first pastors. Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's his uncle right here in the corner of the actual St. Glass window here to your left.
He got the eyes.
It looked just like him. Got the same eyes. Anyway, come on, guys. Come on.
That's funny.
Stand up there looking like. Look on the outside edge of the pews. Look on the outside edge of the pews where you are. You see the different markings alongside the edge of the pews? They represent the different tribes that made up our congregation back then and spoke over 6 different languages among themselves. These were small tribes enslaved by larger tribes and sold to Europeans as they came along the African coast. One of the major languages they spoke back then was that of Aramaic and also too of Hebrew, which means the writings read from bottom to top. Assalamu alaikum. Which means, peace be unto you. It's not a Muslim term. It's actually the same greeting which Christ gave into the disciples when he met them in that region. Most countries in that region read from right to left. Here in America, we read from left to right. That's why the pastors in the St. Glass window up front here are going in numbers 2 through 7 from the right-hand side over to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left.
This is First African Baptist Church, the oldest black church in North America. The building, built by slaves. The gentleman that laid the first brick laid the last. The balcony hold pews that actually were built by slaves. They have the oldest information in this building. That information is written in cursive Hebrew writing.
Here's a chart that summarizes file class and length. And you can see across the top the 3 classes, A, E, and U. And then down the side the 4 lengths, long, medium, short, and very short. So let's just go over this chart. We'll start with the A class vowels. The long vowel is cholam vav, and you'll recall that this says O as in snow. Now you might wonder why an O vowel is in the A class, and this is because of historical considerations. Originally there was no O sound in Hebrew. Everything.
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black and the vernacular that we're supposed to have.
I'm so glad you're here because you can bring great clarity. Can you tell us a little bit about the Sephardic Jews and how they were scattered because they went west?
I sure can.
Because the reason why I want to is because a lot of them, and a lot of people don't know this, are in the Caribbean.
They are.
In the islands.
And you're one of them. I know that.
I'm one of them.
I know that.
Because, you know, a lot of folk don't know that those roots are there. One of the first batches of slaves that came to Jamaica, they were the Sephardic Jews. It's documented.
And they're all over the Caribbean,
over the Caribbean,
South America, Central America, and even the South Central United States.
Wow.
And DNA testing is a factor in all this now.
The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right.
Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics, with the KKK to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race black really are.
Hitler was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them.
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Mm-hmm. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
Well, did you accept that black people? You accepted that black people are Jew, or
no. I'll come to that in a moment.
Black people can't be anti-Semitic. We are Jew. You understand what I'm saying? We are Jew. So cool out until you do your facts. Until you really do the facts with the fake indoctrination that y'all pull into the schools and all that. You know what I'm saying? We're not following y'all rules.
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israelite, that's who we are. That's who we are. So if you give me time, if you give me time, all that he said.
No, we don't have.
So many years.
I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites, or you want to be Jews?
Tell us more about your work and the coursework that you're doing, because you are a real advocate for this topic and why it's so important in the times we're living in.
I appreciate it. I think the most important thing is like the if so, so what? So we've established that there are these individuals over here, but the next question is, what do we do about it? Is everyone's supposed to convert and come back to Israel? But if we think that way, there's really 100 million people around the world that have this Israelite identity. There's really 100 million people around the world that have this Israelite identity.
There's really 100 million people around the world that have this Israelite identity.
Is there a reason that the Jewish people that represent, and I want to get back to this because you didn't let me finish a while ago, they represent 0.2% of the world's population. In the entirety of the world, there are about 16 million Jews total. In the entirety of the world, there are about 16 million Jews total.
There's really 100 million people around the world that have this Israelite identity.
16 million.
100 million.
16 million.
There's really 100 million people around the world that have this Israelite identity coming from the tribes. And Israel's, smaller than the size of New Jersey. Is it sustainable to think in the way of having to convert and bring back? And if you look at the Lemba, they don't even want to convert. They said, why are we converting to something we're already part of?
Their bones were discovered in Kafse caves near Nazareth in Galilee in 1933. 13 fragile skeletons, one a woman, a tiny baby at her feet. When these bones were first uncovered, they were the oldest complete modern human skeletons ever found.
The numerous skeletons that have been found in caves in Israel at the sites of Kafse and Shkul show us that there were modern humans outside of Africa over 100,000 years ago.
Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
I want to say peace and blessings to you guys. I want to say Shalom Lach Mash Pakha. Let me say that again. I want to say Shalom Lach Mash Pakha. Want to give some shout outs to you guys. I know I'm running a little late. I was putting this presentation together. So, wanted to make sure I didn't miss out on some things. I wanted to add some things to the video clips, right? But I didn't have a chance to do it. I'm not sure if you guys remember. I think it still should be up on this channel. When I first launched this channel, I think it's in the first year or two. I uploaded a video dealing with this, right? And Glenn Beck. Not sure if you guys remember Glenn Beck, but Glenn Beck did a video pointing to some of the information I'm going to share with you. He was just asking questions, right? And so we're going to land back off of that. My cousin Benaiah, he kind of, when I would say piggyback to him, he would say to me, land back. Let's listen, land back, cuz. Right? Because it's like, hey, we don't do the swine. We don't dine with the swine. No pork on the fork, right? So, but nevertheless, just really want to touch on that. This is going to be some of the things we discussed tonight. I'm sure you guys saw this image here that's on your screen inside the comment section for us, the community section of this YouTube channel, right? Of me taking a picture right in front of this image here, right? And so just to give a little story behind it, here in Virginia, right, there is a historical landmark that is titled or called the National Bridge, right? Not national, but Natural Bridge, right? And so this bridge my wife and I, we went there a couple of times, and I can't even describe it. The height of this bridge is, I want to say it's easily 10 stories high, right? And underneath it, you could walk through. And so what you see on the screen here, when I see bricks and rocks and things like that, I was like, okay, let me investigate. I just start looking on the wall, right? And I noticed this inscription here. And so we're going to talk about it. We are really going to talk about it. And so I was putting this PowerPoint together because I just didn't want to just do a live without having some order, some direction, some structure of where we're going at with this, right? Because I just really, of course, we're going to, I would say, kind of freestyle a little bit, but at the same time, I want to make sure that certain points we didn't miss. All right, so that's what we're going to cover tonight. But let me get some shout outs for you guys waiting so patiently. I know initially I scheduled it for 10:35, but then I pushed it back to 11:15. But again, I was working on the presentation and it took me longer than what I anticipated on it, right? All right. All right, so let's see here. Sandina Rice, I want to say peace and blessings to you. Want to say all praises to the Most High. Thank you for the love and support. Apologies for the delay, and I'm not sure if you're still in the chat. But again, I want to say thank you and apologies for the lateness. This brush has been doing that. Different brands just clean it. I'm not sure. But like somebody is advertising some product here. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's see here. Ya Ashaya, I want to say shalom to you. Who else do we have here? And these are some of the people that was here earlier. Prayerfully, if you guys are still here, want to give you a shout out here. If not, I'm sure you guys will catch it in the replay, but want to give a special shout outs to you guys. Pride of Judah, shout outs to you. Want to say shout outs to Elder. Thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate you holding it down in California. Want to say shalom, Shabbat, shalom. Hope and pray again. All you guys enjoyed your Shabbat. Really appreciate you. All right, let's see here. Marcia Hamilton, want to say Shabbat, shalom to you as well. Hadassah, want to say peace and blessings to you. Who else do we have in the building here? Let's see. Donnell, I was just mentioning people in VA in the 19th century, what they called themselves, right? And I'm glad that I'm able to give some confirmation here. And you know, when you really start unpacking the history, right? And I'm telling you, there's so much that's here that's been hidden from us. And I encourage you guys, watch the video that I uploaded earlier today. You know, I know it's not a popular video with YouTube, the algorithms, but it's with Jaylen Brown, and he exposes the system. And we've been subjected to the system, how they use algorithms to really push their movement, push their narrative, push certain talking points to shadow ban. That's what I've been dealing with over the past several months, shadow banning from this platform, you know, and whenever you say something that's not in alignment with the establishment, right, that's where you have to deal with a lot of the manufactured aggression, the manufactured opposition, right? And think about it when you start thinking about these behaviors like that. Really, you know, the algorithm is designed to embrace is many people that's putting down our community, that is putting down this awakening. You know, you have the Christian church, you know, the Catholic church. You know, when you start dealing with all these different apologetic communities, those videos go viral, right? Because especially when it seems or appears that they are going up against Hebrew Israelites. And when I say Hebrew Israelites, I mean it not by religion, but blood descendants of Israel. Those videos go viral, right? Because those videos are trying to show the true blood descendants of Israel, display us in an unfavorable way, you know, and trying to further push this narrative that it's a religion. Have you guys noticed that? All right. But nevertheless, let me give some more shout outs here before we get started here. Let's see here. I got ready to get going, but let me get some additional shout outs here. Ivan, brother Ivan, want to say peace and blessings to you. Want to say shalom to you, Ivan David Tooks. Want to say peace and blessings to you. Who else do we have here? Uzi Yah, excuse me. Peace and blessings to you. Who else do we have here? Vahana, peace and blessings to you. My girl Ty, holding it down. Want to say peace and blessings to you. Shalom to you. You know, we miss you out here, but peace and blessings to you. All right. Hepzibah, want to say shalom to you. Peace and blessings to you. Appreciate this love and support. Anson Real Voice, shalom to you. Let's see here. Pine Hill Productions, shout outs to you. Peace and blessings to you. Let's see here. To know and to be known. Want to say peace and blessings to you. Shalom to you as well. All right, let's see here. Brother Andre, want to say peace and blessings to you. We in here woke as ever. Halala waya, right? Transliterates to hallelujah, right? Ancient pronunciation, halala waya. I'm telling you, my book, right now, I turned it over to the editors. Man, I'm just excited about it. Prayerfully, we can have it ready and have it available to you guys within the next couple of months. The goal is no later than Tabernacles. I pray that we can have everything done by then. The book, the audio that will coincide with that. All right. But anyway, remnant of Yah. I want to say peace and blessings to you, my brother. Appreciate the love and support. All right. Let's see who else do we have here. All right. Just scrolling down and see if I missed anyone. Let's see here. The token black guy. I want to say peace and blessings to you. All right. All right. I'm not sure what that's all about, bro. What? I guess that's internal, right? Maybe based off some of the clips I played, but want to say peace and blessings to you. Who else do we have here? Yeah, probably based off of that comment with the orcs and all that stuff, right? Let's see here. Who else do we have here? Zakar Khasad, want to say peace and blessings to you. Want to say peace and blessings to No Wait, Please Don't. Appreciate you holding down the chat. I want to say peace and blessings to my brother, Berean Scholar in the building. I want to say shalom to you, my brother. I'll drop the link shortly here for you to jump on. Let's see who else do we have here. Linda Shorts, want to say shalom to you. Let's see here. Let's get some more in here. Sierra Malone, want to say hello to you. Want to say peace and blessings to you. Thank you for the love and support, taking time out of your schedule to be here on this live. Want to say peace and blessings to you. I think we probably got just about everyone. All right, got a couple more here. AQG24. It just doesn't matter, right? I started to play the clip. I just completely forgot. I meant to play it, but yeah, that's what they say, right? When you start eliminating all excuses, all of a sudden, it just doesn't matter, right? But just because you mentioned that, I may just go ahead and just play that clip because that is one of my favorite clips, that I just play here from time to time. Let's go ahead and play it.
It just doesn't matter. 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 It just
Yeah, you guys know the routine. It doesn't matter. It matters to a point until they get proven wrong, right? Like this scientist here who is so happy, right? He was so excited, hoping that the findings with the Egyptians was going to reveal that they were Caucasians, and he was in for a rude of awakening. Here it is, family. This is where you hear him say, or he'll allude to it. It doesn't matter, right? But look at here. Look at the disappointment on his face. Let me see here. Let me pull that up here real quick. Let's see here. Here it is.
But the CT scan has one more surprise for Alejandro. Shammai's ethnicity.
Well, they have just told me that Shammai had Nubian features, which means that their ruling family was probably Nubian, and that was unexpected.
Examining Shammai's anatomy closely, the thickness of his bones and the shape of his nasal cavity, the anthropologists think he was a black African, likely from neighboring Nubia. A huge revelation that challenges the prevailing image of the Egyptian ruling class.
We always thought the ancient Egyptian elite were Mediterranean type. And in this sense, Shema is representing the society of the frontier in which different ethnic groups were mixed. At the end, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. Shema was Egyptian.
It just doesn't matter. 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 It just doesn't matter.
All right, so you get it. You get the gist of it, family. Yeah, that's the routine. That's the routine. It doesn't matter, right? You know, it matters, but then it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Every time they get proven wrong, it doesn't matter. All right. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue here. Let me see if I got everyone. Looks like I got everyone. And I thought I'd just show that again, you know, being that I saw the comments here in the chat. Let's see here. I am from Southern Maryland. This is Sister Lynn Taylor. I am from Southern Maryland, and the history from Southern Maryland, D.C., and Delaware is unreal. It's a lot of hidden nuggets that you won't hear being talked about, right? So appreciate you. Van P, really appreciate you for being online. Want to say the love and support. Want to say shalom to you. Let's see here. Who else do we have here? Servant of Yah. Want to say of the Most High Yah. Want to say shalom to you. All right. Let's see if we got a few more here. All right. And if I don't get to it, all you guys, everyone tonight, or in this, as I go through it right now, I'll be opening it up. You guys know I like to have some interaction here. So see a super chat here. I want to say peace and blessings. Praise Yah. Appreciate the love and support. This is from Yah's daughter. Family, let's show Yah's daughter some love and support for, love for sharing the contribution tonight. Really appreciate it, Yah's daughter. Also, let's see here. No, wait, please don't. Really appreciate you. May the Most High Yahweh continue to bless you, Pastor Kelly. Really appreciate you, my brother. And family, let's just show some love for the contributions tonight. And I tell you, had it not been for you guys, I'd just be taking a walk by myself. And in spite of all the things you guys witnessed it firsthand and continue to witness, YouTube is doing everything it can to suppress the feeds, to suppress me from being connected to the algorithms. I proved it that they do these things. But guess what? We're still here. And even if it's just a handful of us, guess what? We have more than enough to turn this entire country upside down. Because if one could chase 1,000, two could chase 10,000, and we have almost 300 people here in the building, we could do far more. And we stretched out around the world, so we can have an explosive impact wherever we may be. So how do we beat it? How do we beat this algorithm? Guess what? We just keep doing what we do. You know what I mean? Keep doing what we do, sharing the information. So again, really appreciate you guys. Thank you again for the love and support. Let's go to zoom this out here, or let's go to enlarge this, right? So tonight we're going to get into this carving, right? It really caught me by surprise when I saw this, right? And actually, I saw it the initial time when I went out there. So when we went back out there, I went back over and took another picture in front of it. So we went to the National Mall twice, not National Mall, but Natural Mall. I keep calling it the National Mall. That's DC area, but this is the Natural Bridge, right? And I tell you, when I saw this on the wall, it's nothing but the Most High, because he always have a way of connecting the dots, especially when we have haters, we have the naysayers, right, that are constantly trolling, right? I'm telling you, you'd be surprised, family, if you say certain things, how things start, people start just coming to you and just being rude and disrespectful. On Facebook, you can see one of my latest posts of me just posting saying that there was no OA sounds, or OA, or UA, or OI, or A sounds that extends from the Europeans and the Greeks. Those diphthongs were not present in ancient Hebrew, right? Ancient Hebrew. And so it brings out, those trolls, and some very ugly posts were made and exchanges, and people trying to play the victim. Anyway, not going to get into all that, but we're going to continue here, family. Let's go ahead and continue here, because I know some of our brothers and sisters, there are a particular group that really don't even like this information as well, that they'll do everything they can to try to go against it, don't want to accept that, yes, there are writings here, some things that we can use as breadcrumbs to show that there were Israelites here before this country, this United States, so to speak, was established. All right, but let's go ahead and get into it, family. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let me go ahead and make sure we're current here. All right. Say, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let me do one more thing before I forget. All right. All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and get into it, family. Let's go ahead and get into it. Is this a Hebrew writing here on this this wall, or this stone rather? Is it Hebrew? Is it Hebrew? And that's what we're going to deal with that tonight. Right? I'm just going to present the information to you guys. You guys are going to be the witnesses. You're the jury, rather, and you make a determination. I'm not going to answer the question for you. All right, but nevertheless, let's go to get into it. So let's start with Isaiah. Because I bring this scripture up from time to time, because this is a great passage and an important passage to deal with, right? And so look at what it says, right? Let's see what it says here, so that way we can put this in the proper context. It reads, "Thus saith Yahweh, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts." You know what? Is that the right one? That is not the right one. Let me make sure let me change that up. Let me make sure I have the right one. Why did I put the wrong one up here? Bear with me 1 second. Let me change that. It's supposed to be verse 5. Let me fix this real quick. All right. Let me fix this real quick. When I say shout outs to you, Marine Scholar. All right.
Shout out, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. All right. Isaiah 44. All right. And let's change one more thing. All right. All right. Let's try it now. This should be the correct one. There it is. All right. So it reads, family, it reads, "One shall say, I am Yahweh's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, or Yaakobah, or Yaakobah rather, and another shall subscribe," in other words, Kathab, "with his hand unto Yahweh, and surname himself Kana by the name of Israel, Yasharah Allah," right? So you see some key words here, and it's interesting because just even looking at here, right? This word that I see here is going to help us here, right? It says, "Another shall call himself," right? The actual word is Quara, right? That's the root right here, Quara. So make a note of that. The Quap, right? And you have the Ra'ash. In the Israeli, they call it the Resh, right? So again, we see Yahweh, his name. We see the transliteration here, Jacob, which is Ya'akwabah, right? And we see Israel, which is Yarashah Allah, right? And I'm saying it that way, family, because many will contract this and say Yasharellah, right? That's not the proper pronunciation, because now it kind of adds a different sound to it. Believe me, when you see this I at the end, right, you'll see the word Allah. Allah is actually a Hebrew word, not just a word for the Aramaic or the Arabic, and it's a Shemitic word, right? And in Hebrew, you'll see Allah. So this would be pronounced Allah. So to be Yashara Allah. I'll say it again, Yashara Allah. All right. So that, anyway, not going to go into the details of it, but these are some great breadcrumbs, family, because we can see the history of this, these names here, right? But the key, family, it starts with the Father's name. That's the key. That's the key. That is the baseline. If we mispronounce the Father's name, all the other names, guess what? It's going to be incorrect, right? Because here we see Yahweh, here we see Jacob's, right? Ya'aquabah, right? And how this name, the actual name itself, Aqabah, right? That's Jacob's. When you look at Jacob, right? You'll see that his name consists of two names. Aqabah means heel grabber, right? And so at the beginning of his name, a Yah or the Yad was added to it. Yah, Most High, right? Short form. So you see Ya'aquabah. That's the pattern, family, when you look at the ancient pronunciation for Judah's name, right? You'll see Yahwadah is what we say, but it's two words, Yah plus Awadah, right? Don't let them fool you by saying Yada. Yada is not Judah's name did not come from Yada, right? It came from two words, right? The initial word was Awada, right? And Leah added the Yah to the beginning, so that way it's a reminder that our focus is to be directed towards Yahweh, the Father himself. So I'm just making it clear, family, just so that way we can clean up some of the deceptions that we've been taught. Because if you even go to the lexicons and you just type in Yehudi or Judah, right, it's going to point you to, giving you a definition. It's going to tell you that that this word comes from Yada. And that is an absolute deception. Why? Because again, Awada is an actual ancient Hebrew word. And Leah added the father's short form name to it, Yahwadah. All right. So these are baselines right here that I'm not baselines, but breadcrumbs that I'm sharing with you. Berean Scholar, any comments before we continue?
Oh, you're rolling, brother. Those are very important points you're bringing out, because we need to follow these breadcrumbs, because it's so many things we got to uncover to get to the truth. So keep going.
Aman. And family, I'm telling you, don't fall into that deception of saying that this is not a salvation issue, or the Most High, when he come back, he'll clean up the name. He's going to give us a new language. There's not a single passage in the prophecies that says that the Most High is going to give us a new language. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9 makes it clear that the Most High is going to cleanse our language, right? He's going to purge it, right? He's going to sift our language to get it back to where it was. Because if he's going to give us a new language, that's saying he's going to change his name. He's going to change all these key names. No, that is not correct, right? So the key is the baseline of all the names of Israel stems from the Father's name, Yahweh. All right. So let's start with it. Let's start with a little build here and work our way up to where we're going to get to in terms of the writings, the inscription that we see on the stone that you see behind on your screen. Right. So let's start with the Batch Creek stone. Right. And Berean Scholar, I know we had a discussion about this on your channel about a month and a half ago.
Yes, we did.
And so we had a great discussion, family. And I want to share some information here, because for me, when out of all the stones, this one really stands out for me the most is because it's written in Paleo or ancient Hebrew or the language of Judah. This one really stands out the most. Now, I'm not discrediting all the other ones, but this one stands out the most, right? And we're going to get into this and break this down on, on what this is actually saying. All right, let me fix my mouse. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let me fix my mouse here. All right. And this is going to further confirm. All right, there we go. This is going to confirm, further prove the passage that I just highlighted with you guys, coming out of Isaiah 44, verse 5. All right. Any comments, Berean Scholar, before we get started?
No, because you know how excited I got about when I first discovered that, and I called you on the phone, and it was like, wow, we found this here. This happened, in fact, near the area where I was that I moved from. So it's not that far from the area I moved from. So
absolutely, and this is so powerful, family, and this is a document, right, that I use to kind of give pushback, because you know how it goes whenever there's something like this that is discovered. You always you tend to have the naysayers that pop up. There were trolls even back at that time, you know what I mean? And those are the identity deniers, because if they recognize this, guess what? Then they have to recognize the people who actually wrote this, and they know the people that actually wrote this was not Europeans. They know that it was not the 1948ers. They have to go to the original people who wrote this. And when we look at this we're not dealing with when we look at what is deemed the Native Americans or the indigenous people, whatever the case may be, whatever titles. We're not dealing with the groups that got infiltrated by the Europeans. We're not dealing with the $5. Right? We're not dealing with any of those groups. When you get beyond those points, then you'll see who's who, right? Then you'll understand who the Native Americans are. Now, I'm not saying all Native Americans, but I do have sources, right? And not just, and I'm going to show you some today, but I have sources that I've gone through and touched on, and you guys even seen some of the videos here. But this is a great piece right here. This is a great piece right here, right? Make a note of this, because we're going to talk about this here, all right? And I may even pull up the document that I used years ago when I taught on this, right? But here it is, right? So the American Petrographic Services Incorporated, right? Bat Creek Stone Petrographic Report, right? Because they analyzed this stone. They did a report on this stone, and we are going to go ahead and take care of this. We're going to handle this, right? We're going to prove that these are not fakes, as we see someone trolling already, right? See, that's how you know, family. When we start hitting on certain things, trolls going to come out, right? But let them keep on trolling, right? Let them keep on trolling, keep trolling, because this is confirming. And I'll challenge anyone who wants to contest what I'm getting ready to bring forth here. And I will make sure, guys, you can download this right here, this PDF. Hopefully it's still available. You can download this PDF, and this PDF makes it clear that this is not a fake. And I'll challenge anyone on there, right? And I see someone that want to go by themselves, call themselves Cuckoo Khan. Come on, Cuckoo Khan. Come on, Cuckoo Khan. And I'll show you where India comes from. We'll show you. I'll teach you about yourself and what you don't know. Keep trolling. But anyway, we'll deal with the blue people, indigo. The original blue people, the blue black people. Anyway, let's get this troll out of here. Right? Anyway, so let's deal with this right here, family. Let's deal with this right here. All right. So this is the report by American, as I pointed out, Petrographic Services, Scott Walter and Richard Staley, prepared for the Eastern Band of Cherokee, right? So this report, right, the purpose of it was to examine the physical characteristics of the stone, not to translate the inscription. Okay, so the report accepts Emert's field documentation as generally credible, right? It confirms it, right? So the authors state that they found no direct evidence supporting speculation that John Emert forged the inscription because of alcoholism or to impress Cyrus Thomas. Instead, they concluded that his excavation records should stand on their merits its own. Right. See, this is what happens, family. And y'all know in this awakening, and I've been subjected to this when I bring out some key information, what happens? People can't go at the information, so they have to try to tear down the character. They have to try to tear the person down, so that way you don't want to listen to what the person has to say, but they cannot debunk the information. Starting with the pews in Savannah, Georgia. I got other things that I have proven here, but that's what happens, right? Like the troll, right? Good night, right? Everybody say good night. And for me, say hello to the bad guy, right? I'll be Tony Montana tonight, right? Say hello to the bad guy, right? But anyway, again, look at what this conclusion say. It says, they conclude that his excavation records should stand on their merit, stand on their own merit. In other words, don't get caught up with trying to, come up with all these different straw man approach, trying to attack, trying to use that as a way to undermine or shift the narrative from the truth. The fact of the matter is they still can't change the truth. Right. So the excavation description is remarkably detailed. Right. So cutting an 8-foot square shaft, finding undisturbed red clay, discovering 9 skeletons, the engraved stone beneath skeleton 1, copper bracelets, wood fragments, fossil stone. Come on, we're going to drop the mic on this, right? Because when you bring out this truth, right, the trolls come out, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Those that want to jump all on your windshields, want to be in all the videos. Yeah, we get the trolls out, right? When you bringing out this truth, right? But anyway, let's continue. Bone implement. Okay, so he even states he accidentally struck the back of the stone with his probe before exposing it. So this is how honest the assessment is. So he points out that he struck the stone and accidentally put a mark on it. Come on, family. So the microscopic evidence concludes, right? The inscription existed before polishing, because they try to use all kinds of, hey, they polished it, and look at what he said. The inscription existed before polishing. Polishing occurred before burial, right? Weathering affected the inscription for a long period of time, right? The 2 famous vertical scratches were added much later. Right. So the authors specifically distinguish between the original inscription and later scratches. So their geological conclusion is straightforward. The inscription predates excavation. The inscription shows extensive weathering, and the associated artifacts cannot be younger than the burial. That's a mic drop right there, right? It said the associated artifacts cannot be younger than the burial. All right. So what does the inscription say? All right. We're going to see if this is going to tie into what Isaiah talks about. Let's see if this ties into that. What does the inscription say? All right. All right. I'm excited when I see this part, right? I'm excited, right? Y'all know I get animated when I talk the word. And Berean Scholar, you know, you talk to me offline.
Yeah.
Me all the time, right? I get excited about talking the word. Now, if you bring up sports, I may sound like this. Oh, okay. I mean, like, you know, what's that? What's that cartoon with the minions on it? The yellow minions.
Oh, you talking about this
Despicable Me.
Yeah. Despicable.
Right? Remember the first one? Look, Mom, I made a rocket out of macaroni noodle. And you know, that's, you know, if we're talking about anything outside of the word, I may have that same tone like the moms with when he was, you know, trying to show his trophy or what his accomplishment. I was like, you know, anything else, I'm like, okay. When we're dealing with the word, when we're dealing with history, I'm excited. So, family, let's break this thing down real quick. Look like I see someone in the back here. I didn't have this open up for discussion or anything like that, but let me just say something to you real quick because I saw you in the backstage. All right. Want to say peace and blessing to you. This is Balance.
Hi.
I want to say peace and blessings. And any comments you want to share before we continue? Like I said, I didn't have this open up for a live discussion outside of Berean Scholar that's here, but I saw you in the back, so I wanted to just acknowledge you real quick before we continue. All right. Any comments before we get started?
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying.
All right. Well, we're going to keep it going and maybe catch us the next live. You know, I may matter of fact, I may do a live tomorrow night. And if you want to jump on, I'll have it. I may have an open discussion tomorrow night. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Shalom. All right. So, family, this is right. You know, and just looking here, especially knowing when we're dealing with this is paleo, right?
Yep.
Even though you see some of the letters a little, just changed a little bit, but overall you can see the paleo here, right? Starting with this first letter, right? I mean, this first word here with these letters, this is the quap, right? And if you put another circle here, and sometimes it's written with a half circle, right? But it means horizon. It means balance. And you guys know that when me teaching ancient Hebrew, I also proved that this is also a dial, right? Is it a coincidence you see that at this foot or what looks like a foot at the bottom of it? But anyway, this would be the quap if you add another circle here, but sometimes it's written with a half circle. But again, if you turn this 45 degrees, you'll see that it'll look like a horizon. Anyway, this here is the Ra'ash. And what word would this be? It's Quara. Quara means to call to, right? Let me bring that up here. Right? Quara, this is coming from the Hebrew Strongs, to call out to, address by name, call, in other words, forth, self, upon. So call for, call forth, call self, call upon, cry unto. So that's important, right? What do you think, Berean Scholar?
And well, now they I don't know that you mentioned where who wrote this stone, who carved the stone.
Yeah, I ain't get into all of that, but if you want to share, go ahead.
I mean, when you said the call to, this was a group of American, a tribe right outside the Tennessee mountains in the swamp area that wrote this inscription. And like any handwriting, that like you said, it's a little script, but it is paleo. It's definitely paleo Hebrew. And you said the call to, and it's like it's incomplete, like they was writing a message and didn't chance to finish it.
And guess what? They actually, we're going to show that they did finish it. Right? Because I'm going to show you the connection here.
Okay.
Right? And to your point, I'm going to share a source before we get to the description on the wall that I share with you guys, the natural bridge. But I just want to kind of use this as something that we could kind of start with the conversation. Right? So to your point, in family, this is where you see a lot of trickery, right? Because, you'll see these charts, right? These so-called Hebrew charts. And then they try to program you that if the letters don't look exactly like what's on this chart, then that ain't Hebrew.
Come on.
And we've been programmed to use the Syriac block letters as the baseline. The Syriac block letters is not ancient Hebrew, or should I say the language of the Israelites, right? The Syriac block letters, because Syriac was, their language is a Shemitic language, the Syrians, but it's not the Hebrew of the ancient Israelites. I hope that makes sense to many of you guys. The Babylonians' language is a Shemitic language, but it's not the Shemitic language of the ancient Israelites. I know that may go over some of you guys' heads, but that's the truth. But that's part of the layers, the overlays that we've been deceived by. So to Berean Scholar's point, all of us know how to write English, but the way that I write my E may not be the same as Berean Scholar write his E. But we can still tell this the letter E.
Exactly.
It's called a signature. Each one of us is going to have a signature, right? That's going to be a little different. This is why when you're dealing with identity theft, right? What do? They tell you to what? Write your signature. They want you to write it multiple times, right? And then they'll have someone else. They'll look at the document to match signatures to see if that's actually you that wrote that on that document. All right. So we see this first word means to cry, right? We see quara. Okay. Let's continue here. All right. And so I want to point this out real quick, prefixes, right? When we look at ancient Hebrew, right, not just, this Israeli language as well, you'll see the prefixes, right? So one of the prefixes is the ba or bayath, which transliterates to n, right? Then we see the ha, which for the most part transliterates to the or the. Then we see the wa, which transliterates to and. Then we see the lamad that transliterates to two. It can also transliterate for. This letter in ancient Hebrew, it's the Hebrew word, and it also means disciple. So the ancient Hebrew pronunciation for the word disciple is lamad, right? And it means someone that is skilled at learning. It means skilled at learning, teach. All right. So from the prefix perspective, this letter would be transliterated to two or to be transliterated to four. Okay. Then we see the gamal, which this transliterates to the word with. Then we see the mayam, which transliterates to the word from. Then we see the kop, which transliterates to like. Of course, we see the shan, which. So I'm just giving you guys a little overview here real quick. So let's go back here. So we see quara. Why do I bring up that chart? Why do I go through that list here? Because we got quara. Now we see this prefix here. Because it looked like they put a comma here. You know what I mean? A separator. Yeah. But then we see the lamad. Right? Remember, as a prefix, it could transliterate to or for. So if we say cry for, you see where I'm going at, Berean Scholar?
I see you now. I see what you're saying.
So cry for, and this right here is Yahawada. So it says cry for Judah. Well, right, quara, right there that we just highlighted here, right? Yahawada. Now look at what it says here, right? Celebrated. the name of 5 Israelites. So, family, for you to got like I mentioned here, this entry is going to take you to Yada, but that's not the actual word that Yahweh comes from. It's 2 words, Yah plus Awada. Awada means to talk. It means to sing. Yeah, family. That's the part that you won't hear, you won't see inside this entry here. But if we bring this together, right? Let's go back here, family. Quara, call, cry to, right? Cry, call. Look at here. For, cry, call to, cry for Yahweh. Let me say that again. Now, I'm excited here. And you know what's interesting here? Down here on this next line, right? You see this samak. Samak means thorn. Oh, man. But again, call to or cry for Judah. There's something special about you, Judah. Come on, family. Y'all should be excited. I shouldn't be the only one that's excited here.
Man, this is clear. When you see things like this, there's no way not to be excited, because it bears witness that there were presence here in these lands way before the first white person stepped foot on it.
All right, family. We got some more we're going to share with you guys. Share the video, family. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and all you guys have a YouTube account. How we break this algorithm, just like when you click the like button, and I'm sure we probably have 100 likes right now, which we should have it easily. Share it on your YouTube pages.
Yes.
When you share it, now it breaks the algorithm. So if we have 100 people that like the video on your YouTube channel, go ahead and share it on your YouTube channel, because that's going to help the algorithm. That's going to break us out of this shadow banning that they've been doing since over 2 months now, Berean Scholar?
They increased. You're right. They've been doing it for a long while, but they increased it.
Yeah, they increased it.
Yeah.
All right.
They doubled down.
All right. So the question here, I say a question here. So that's our original writing, huh? Yes, it is. This is actual connected to what they would call Paleo Hebrew. This is not connected to the Aramaic block or Aramaic Syriac block letters. This doesn't look anything like that, right? Lamad, which is similarly written like this. Matter of fact, let me bring this up here. Let me go back to the other one. Oh, right. I didn't put the Lamad here, but look at how you see the Yad. Can you guys see that? Let me zoom it in. Right, see the Yah, right? Yad. See how that looks? I'm going to bring it up a little bit. You see that, family? Doesn't that look similar to it? What do you think, Berean Scholar?
It's right on point. That's it.
All right, so let's go to the next one.
Like I said, that's a handwriting different, but that's the same letter.
Exactly. So look at the next one. Doesn't that look like the high, even though it doesn't have the full extension at the bottom here?
Right.
But it still have what? The 3.
The 3.
All right. Now let's go to the Wa. Right? Look at that here. Doesn't that look like the Wa?
Yep.
Look at here.
That's definitely the Wa.
That's the Wa. Okay. So we 3 for 3, right? Let's go to the last letter. Look at that, the Dalath here.
Yep.
Come on, family. Now, it looks like it's broke here, but whatever the case may be, but still, we could, in ancient Hebrew, this would be pronounced Yahweh Da. Each letter pronounced as a syllable.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. The tip of the ah.
Right? So, guess what, family? They know we're the people of the book. Oh, we got more. We got more. We got more. let's go to the Decalogue stone, right? Now I didn't bother about doing any transliteration on it because that would take time, but I do have a document I could share with you guys. But let's just pull it up here, right? This is J. Hudson McCulloch, an annotated transcription of the Ohio Decalogue stone, right? 1992. So this document is primarily an epigraphic, because I have the document now. And before we go to the next point I'm going to make, I'll show both of the documents with you guys here. All right. So, this document that I have, it shows a complete line-by-line transcription, letter-by-letter analysis, comparison with Hebrew orthography, discussion of variant spellings, discussion of grammatical peculiarities, discussion of alleged signs of forgery. Because what happens is you always have someone that want to hate. They'll try to come up with anything to try to say, hey, look at this scratch right here, forgery. Anything that they can to toss it out. Kind of like a defense lawyer, right? When they're trying to defend their client, they're looking for anything that they can to throw the case out. They could, even though they know their client is guilty, right? They can know the client is guilty, but they're looking for a technicality. Am I right, Berean Scholar?
They look for anything that would turn the audience perception of the case.
Exactly. Anything that they can say, here, look, here's a technicality.
It causes doubt.
All right. So that's why you hear when you see verdicts come out, you got to prove without a reasonable doubt. So the whole goal is to try to cast doubt.
Exactly.
All right. So McCulloch argues that some features critics call mistakes may actually reflect someone writing from memory or using a dialect rather than copying directly from a biblical manuscript. Several pages discuss orthographic variations, omitted letters, and dialectical spellings instead of treating every irregularity as evidence of fraud. You know what I mean? See, that's the thing. When we start looking at what we are today, especially when we're dealing with the Christian church, when they're dealing with our community, they try to look for the slightest piece of evidence. If they see something that may be a discrepancy, see, they're liars. See, they're snakes. See, they are heretics. See, they are. Have you noticed that, Berean Scott?
Oh yeah.
Are you guys are you guys witnessing that as well? Anything that they use, anything that they may seem, in their minds, it's a discrepancy or irregularity. They want to say that's proof that it's a fraud. That's a proof that they're lying. That's proof they don't know who they are. They just making stuff up. That is the argument. That's one of the things that Jaylen Brown pointed out, even in the video I uploaded earlier today. I encourage you guys watch it tomorrow. All right, I may have to upload it again. All right, because I missed them. I forgot to put some clips in it. But anyway, some additional clips in it. But anyway, so this is a central theme throughout the transcription, as illustrated in the discussion shown on pages 3, 5, 7, and 8 of the document. So real quick, family, let me show you the document that I'm referring to. Let me pull it up real quick. All right, let's see here. Let me make sure I'm at the right one, the Decalogue. All right, so we said 3, 5, 7, and 8. All right. But I'll just pull it up anyway. Let me just go ahead and pull it up. All right, let's do this here. All right. Let's stop this screen and let's share this here. All right, can you guys see my screen? If you guys can see my screen.
I can see it.
All right, so I'm going to zoom in right? And let's go to the top of this page, right? An annotated transcription of the Ohio Decalogue Stone. So this is what I'm making reference to, right? And of course, when I dealt with the Bat Creek Stone, this is the documentation here. And this is given a full analysis. Remember, American Petrographic Services Incorporated, right? And this is, as you see here, dated July 14th, 2010. But it was actually, as you see here, May 28th and June 29th, 2010. All right. So let's go back over here to the Decalogue, right? So as you see here, it says the Ohio Decalogue Stone was found in 1860 by David Wyrick in an ancient burial mound 10 miles south of Newark, Ohio. A few months earlier, Wick had found another Hebrew inscribed stone known as the Keystone among the ancient earthworks in Newark itself. For the history of these findings, it tells us to see another reference here, but it goes on to say the Newark Holy Stones, the history of an archaeological tragedy, and the 194 primary and secondary references he cites. All right, but let's go ahead. I didn't convert this to text, so let me see here. All right, just looking at some other stuff we can highlight here. And as you can see here, it says, I have added the standard Masoretic Hebrew text from the NIV into the Linear Hebrew English Old Testament for the reader's convenience, along with single marks under the line of text to indicate word division and double marks. So this is making it clear that they're using the Masoretic vowel system, the letters. So this is clear when we start dealing with the Decalogue alphabets. That is an extension from the Aramaic block letters. All right, but let's go ahead and scroll down here. Right, so when we deal with the Decalogue, as he's highlighting here, this is dealing with the 10 Commandments. Right, that's what he's dealing with on this page right here. Any comments, Berean Scholar?
No, keep going, brother.
All right, so that's what's being highlighted here. He's dealing with the 10 Commandments. So this Decalogue stone is making it clear about the 10 Commandments. And what's interesting is, look at this one that's highlighted, verse 10, right? On the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall do any work, right? Neither you nor your son, I'm going to zoom it in more so you guys can see it, your son or daughter, nor your manservant or maidservant, nor your animals, nor alien within your gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that is in them. But he rested on the seventh day. Therefore, Yahweh blessed the Shabbat and made it holy. So you see some of the things that's highlighted here. He has that. He also has this section of 12 right here. When we see verse 12, honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land of Yahweh Elohim. All right. But nevertheless, I just wanted to kind of highlight this information on this particular page. All right. Let's just scroll through it. I'm just scrolling through it. Let me see. Now, this is the Decalogue alphabet chart, right? And you can see how it's similar to the Aramaic, right? Look at what it says here, standard Hebrew. That's not standard Hebrew among the Israelites. This is what they created to make this become the new standard. It's actually the ancient Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew, or the language of Judah, right? So as you can see here, when you see the Aleph, right, on the left here, right, we see how it has this dot here, right? Looks like that represents it being silent. Yeah, because I see that same thing for the ayin, right? So both of them are silent letters in the Israeli language, right? So when we look here, right, this is the how it would be written in the Decalogue alphabet, right? So that's how it'd be written. So you'll see these signs, these symbols on there. Then you'll see The Beth, right? You see how it looks similar. The Gamal. You see the Daleth, right? You see the similarities here. The Hey, right? The Wa, instead of having the at the top, right? Having that little lip or extension here, it looks like an upside down T, right? We see the Zayin, right? The Zayin, as you see, it looks like a Y. The Het, right? You see how that looks similar, right?
Yep.
The difference is you see a separation here for the Hey, but the Het, you see the connection here. It's connected there. All right. Tet, it says it's not used in this on this stone. The Yod looks like a straight line. The Kaf, right? It's giving us some illustrations, right? Now, this is how it would look at the end of the word. This is the extended, right? Or, anyway, not getting into all of that. Then you see the Lamed, right? You see how it looks like a backwards L, right? The Mem, all right, looks like, a M, a block letter M. So just showing you guys, just going through the list here so you guys could get some visuals here. You see in the Israeli, you have the sheen and the seen, which, right, depending on what side the dots are here, the Nakud is on. But look at what you see here. It could be written in two ways. And then lastly, we see the Tav, right? And we see how that's written here. All right. Let's see here. What else do we have here? All right. So there you have it. There you have it. There you have it. So you see the lettering, you see the writing on it. So this is the commandments, right? And this image here is supposed to be Moses. They believe that it's Moses, right? All right, I'm just scrolling through this document here that since I have it up here, family, seeing if there's any other things that we can highlight from it. Any comments, Berean Scholar?
No, because I remember that you came on one live I did. I forgot how long ago that we went over that stone and showed pictures of it and how like you said, people tried to come and sprinkle doubt on the how authentic it was, and that it wasn't really Hebrew.
Exactly. And so, and as you can see, they're transliterating it here. And down here, this is giving you some, some words here, right? And like here, if you read Israeli language, this would be Ashir, right? Is how this would be pronounced, because anyway, not going to get into all of that, right? Right. I know that, I don't want to, really get into all the breaking down, the parsing, the letters and all that. But you see how they're transliterating all of this. Now, of course, they had to throw the Yahweh here,
Yep.
they had to throw it here, Yahweh, right? But actually in ancient Hebrew, you guys know how it is pronounced, is Yahweh, right? So anyway, let's see here. All right, so that's all this is. They're just transliterating this and writing it, and as they highlight it, they're using the Masoretic points. They're using the Syriac block letters. So that's why you see it transliterated the way that it is. All right, and this is dealing with the commandments, as it's highlighting in this document. And then the Bad Creek Stone, let me bring that back over. And as Berean Scholar pointed out, he lived in this area, close to this area, correct, Berean Scholar?
Right, in North Carolina's western North Carolina, right close to there, yeah.
All right. And so this is giving, this is some back and forth communications here, but it really breaks down a lot of information here. All right, and as you can see here, they didn't focus on trying to translate it. They focused on showing the authenticity of it. All right. And you can just see some of the back and forth here. I'm just scrolling down, and this is saying, remember, it was discovered right near one of the individuals. So this is saying right here, it's giving, explaining that the image here says on the same level with number 1 and number 2 were found 7 other skeletons, all lying side by side with their heads to the north, and all of them very much decomposed, as were numbers 1 and 2. These skeletons were lying. These 7 skeletons were lying almost touching each other, the skull being in line with each other, a little singular that all were lying with their heads to the north, but number 1, whose head was to the south, right? So that's what is pointing here, right? You see how all the heads up here pointing to the north, but number 1 pointing to the south.
Yeah.
So just giving you, basically explaining this image that you see here, family. All right. This is giving the assessment here. I'm not going to read all of that. Right. That's what this is giving more, breaking down what's listed here. All right. All right. But yeah, Berean Scholar, I just was showing this to give clarity to what you pointed out of this being in your neck of the woods. All right. So let me go ahead and bring this back over. All right, real quick. I see you got an image up real quick.
Right.
Let me show that.
But if you're seeing it with Hebrew eyes, you know what you're looking at. This is not the way I would try. I was trying to find the actual slide that I had with that, because that shows the migrations, and that's what you already brought up with the Back Creek stone. But it also went to the Decca stone, the stone in New Mexico that had the Ten Commandments on it.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on that.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, I got that up in the next.
But you can take that down. That's not what I want to expound. If I find it, I'll let you know.
All right. Yeah, I actually have. We're going to touch on it in the next one. We're not going to break it on down, but just to your point, want to show the people that there are markings here.
Yeah.
You know what
there
I
are
mean?
markers all over this country that shows
that they don't want to talk about. All right,
I could drop the link of that video if you might want to go back and see it.
All right, let me add this here. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. You're back to your slide.
Okay, great. So family, those are the documents like where you see here is making reference to some of the pages in the document I just shared with you guys. All right. So let's continue here. If my mouse would work right. There we go. All right. All right. So you see this is supposed to be Moses here. But as we share with the image, the document I shared, it actually breaks down each one of these letters. All right. So the Ohio Decalogue stone, which is also called the Newark Decalogue stone, discovered in 1860 near Newark, Ohio. The inscription is generally understood to be a version of the Ten Commandments in Exodus 20, written in a form of Hebrew, right? Using what has now been called the Decalogue alphabet, okay? But really it's the Aramaic block letters, right? But I want to make it clear, the Decalogue alphabet is not Paleo or ancient Hebrew. I want to make sure I point that out. So it is a stylized alphabet whose letters forms resemble late Hebrew square script, right? Often called the block script, which itself developed from the Imperial Aramaic writing tradition after the Babylonian exile, because Aramaic is still considered a Hebrew language, but it's not the language of Judah. That's not the language of the ancient Israelites. All right. Just want to point that out. So in the same sense, the script belongs to the same historical family as the later Hebrew square script rather than the earlier Paleo Hebrew alphabet. So regardless, and this is the point I want to make, regardless whether one ultimately concludes these inscriptions are authentic or not, these documents raise legitimate technical questions that deserves careful examination. So, like I said, when I saw people trying to rail against it, it's like, hey, I got documents that can that back it up, that answers those so-called technicalities that these, many of these spaces want to use to try to discredit these historical findings. All right. So Bad Creek, right? The stones, microscopic weathering, polishing, excavation notes, and chain of custody, right? The Decalogue stone, paleography, orthography, dialect, and textual transmission. These are solid proofs, right? But this is the next stone that I want to bring up here that Berean scholar pointed out. Is the Los Lunas stone, which is located in New Mexico. But again, as he pointed out, you got stones in Arizona, right? You got stones that's right across this country, right? You have not just stones, but you have marks, you have proof, all right? So the Los Lunas Decalogue stone is perhaps the best known alleged Hebrew inscription in North America, right? It is located on Hidden Mountain near Los Lunas, New Mexico, and consists of a large boulder bearing an inscription that closely parallels the Ten Commandments. All right, so this is that stone that you see right here, family. This is that stone. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but it's here. All right, I want to make sure you guys have a visual of it. You can take a screenshot of it. Okay. All right. But I want to share another key piece of information because Berean scholar, I bring this up in our discussions offline when we deal with James Adair. Right? I want to turn you guys' attention to this guy right here, James Adair. Right? I've been making reference to his information for, I want to say, at least 10 years, at least, studying languages, right? Because languages would take you on a number of paths, right? Again, as I shared in my testimony, when I really grabbed hold of Genesis 10, and it makes it clear that the three pillars of what constitutes a nation, of being a nation, land, family, and tongues or languages, the language part really set in with me. Any comments, Berean scholar? You're muted, so we can't hear you.
When I first found out the evidence about the Back Creek stone and how close it was to where I was living, and I remember going into it and looking for more details on it, and in doing so, I learned that some of the words that came out of that tribe was something like it was near the pronunciation of my county. That's when I called you and you told me about this James there. So I went to read his book and see some stuff. Wow. Now you're talking about somebody in the society. When I saw this individual, who he was, where he came from, how he got here, spending 40 years of research on these tribes, staying with these tribes. Yeah. And he had other people, non-Israelite people, who verify how thorough he was.
There you have it. Right. Be the Bereans, right? You got to vet everything, right?
Oh yeah.
And guess what? When I shared it with him, he didn't just take me with my word. He took it. He went, got the information, and he researched it himself. Now I didn't share that part of James Adair because when you really start going to the details of him, he was very astute in the Hebrew language.
Yes.
Right? They called it ancient Hebrew or antique Hebrew. He even had a chart that he went by. He even is believed that he was a Sephardic Jew, right? Yep. And he was primarily in North Carolina, right? Some of his relatives are in North Carolina, but he went on and where he did his assessment is North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida. He covered that whole area.
Yes.
And you're talking about like what, 1720, 1725, you know, when he wrote this.
And just to display some of the confusion when you said Sephardic, he was a Israelite.
Yeah, because family, we know that the 1948ers, or should we say the Khazars, they did infiltrate. See, that's the part of history you don't hear about, is Chittim or Kittim dominating and ruling that area. But that's a whole nother discussion, right? Bereans College trying to get me caught out there, right?
Going to another rabbit trail.
Yeah. So we're not going to do that tonight. But let me highlight something here from his book, right? It's right. I mean, his entire book really points out a number of different things, but I want you guys to see what's his premise here, right? And I'm just going to highlight this here. I'm going to zoom it in. It says observations, right? It goes on to say, and arguments and proof of the American Indians being descendants from the Jews. Now, when I bring this out, because remember, I make it clear, I don't rock with the 12 tribe chart, but at the same time, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Come on.
Right? And when I bring this out, and I have other sources, but when I bring this out of a historian back in 1775, look at what he said. I'm going to zoom it in, family, so that way, and I literally took a screenshot so no one can say I'm manipulating the evidence. You know how they like doing, right, Berean Scholar?
Yep.
Now, look at what it says here, family. Observations and arguments and proof of the American Indians being descendants from the Jews. All right. A number of particulars present themselves in favor of a Jewish descent, but to form a true judgment and draw a solid conclusion, the following arguments must not be partially separated. Let them be distinctly considered, then unite them together and view their force collectively. Right now, this is Old English, family, so that's why you see in certain some of the words here, like you'll see an F instead of an S. Right, so this is Old English. I could have copied and pasted this over, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give no room for anyone to insinuate that I possibly tamper with the evidence. All right, but let's go to another older screenshot that I will use when I'm teaching the language. Right, let's go to page 114. Right, look at what it says here. Before I conclude, matter of fact, let me just zoom it in.
The actual book.
And this is on page 114. This is on this section right here. Before I conclude this argument, I must here observe that when the Indians meet at night to gladden and unite their hearts before Yehovah. Now we know, family, we're not in the ancient times, right? But you still see, as he's proving, that you see the Hebraic influence here. So look at what he says here. They sing Yehovah Shu, Yehovah Shu, Yehovah She, Yehovah She, and Yehovah Shai, and Yehovah Shai with much energy. The first word is clear, is nearly in Hebrew characters. And look at the characters that they place here. Now, of course, they're going to go with what's established according to the Masoretic points. Because it's, look at what it says here. Yahweh Shai, but they truncated this and made it say a oo sound, like what you say today, Yeshua. Right? Yeah. But for us, the key here when I would use this in part of my argument, because, you know, Yahweh Shah, doesn't that sound similar here when it says Yehovah Shi? I mean, Yehovah Shai. Doesn't that sound similar, family?
Yep.
Come on, family. And it says the name of Joshua, or Savior. See, he didn't get caught up with the craziness we see today.
Exactly.
Come on, family. He didn't get caught up in the craziness today. So today is all about trying to find technicalities to debunk someone. Oh, is this a mic drop or what, Berean Scholar?
Oh, yeah. And when he said the name of Joshua, our Savior, meaning that the name translated as Jesus, he knew that that was what it was when they were saying.
Exactly.
He didn't debate or see, well, I don't think they really meant that. It was just a slip of the tongue.
Exactly. So look at here. He says Numbers, and he's giving you the chapter, Numbers chapter 13, verse 8, because this is where Joshua's name was changed.
Come on now.
All right. From Hawashah to Yahawashah, because the Yah was placed at the beginning of his name. Because Hawashah or Hawashah, guess what? That means Savior. The Yah added to the beginning of his name shows who he is dedicated to. Oh man, mic drop, right, family? So look at here. That ayan is properly expressed by our double vowels. Right. So what they're doing is they're making the ayan into a vowel letter, or using, when you see that oo sound, right? That is dealing with the sharuk. The sharuk makes an oo sound or a u sound. So that's how you would get Yeshua, Yeshu, as he's trying to explain here, Yehovah Shu. All right. But anyway, it goes on to say that is Baal, right, is a ruler or commanding. So the enemies say, Bule Haksi, excuse me, that's a S. But nevertheless, he's explaining this here, fam. I'm not going to read all of this. I don't want to butcher it anyway, but let's skip down here, right? Because this is a key point right here. It says, but they commonly make those words end with one syllable of the divine name, right? And it says Yehovah. If we connect this with the former part of the subject and consider they are commonly anointed all over in the time of their religious songs and what is that? Circling? All right, I can't tell. Circuiting. Anyway, dances, the word seems to glance at the Hebrew original, and perhaps they are sometimes synonymous for shama, right? Signifies oil, the person anointed, mashak, right? And that's what this is getting into. Messiah, right? Mashak, Messiah. And who is anointed? Mashayak. Right? You see how he's putting it here? Come on, family. Which the Indians is, and he's showing this the connection here. It says Messiah. He's showing the similarities here. Is family, here it is. It's right in your face. Like Chuck D would say, there it is, bam, in your face. This is a dope jam.
And to your point, brother, this is some information that you have a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of people try to say, well, we didn't come from Africa. We were already here. We're indigenous to this land. Like I said, that's a little smoke where that came from. But we did come from that continent over here. But there were migrations of people before that. That's and this when I was reading Adair's work, it was showing, man, these people were here, and people like Columbus. Well, I don't want to get ahead of you, but this information just blew me away. Like, oh wow, our people were here, and the migration of our people show how we got here.
Now, Columbus didn't make it to this part of the Americas. Remember, he was Puerto Rico, South America, down that way, but he didn't make it to this part of the Americas.
Well, I'm talking the migration, how we got from the West Africa to all over in this area, to the Caribbean, to the Comorians, to South America and Mexico.
Yeah, I got you. You're hitting it on the nail.
Yeah.
Come on, family. Look at what he said here, right? Look at what he said here. Look at the word description. That these red savages formerly understood the radical meaning, right? So he's touching on what they were labeled, red savages. We're not talking about Caucasians. Red, ruddy,
yep.
Dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a clear complexion. That's coming from the what's that? The encyclopedia, what is that? I can't even think the full name of the encyclopedia at the time.
The International Standard Bible Encyclopedia.
There it is. There it is. So, family, you see where we're going at with this, right? All right, we giving nothing but proof here. We're giving nothing but sources here. We're not giving opinions. But he, like as Berean Scholar pointed out, he shares a lot more than what I'm sharing here right now. I'm just giving you a snippet from this book, but he shares a lot of information. He looks at the culture and how they bury their loved ones. They stay away from certain things. Yeah, we'll deal with. We may do a discussion on this, right? And just go into do a deeper discovery on it. Now, I know I didn't get a chance to put some additional slides here. This may be my only slide here, right? But I can adjust, family. Blame Berean Scholar, right? So what really stood out on this inscription, right? And again, this is the natural bridge. I don't know why I keep wanting to say National Mall, right? But this is the natural bridge, and this is a place of worship. All right, this is a place of worship, right? And when you look here closely, right, because on the surface you may just see Hawa, HWH, right? But look at what you see there. That looks like a Y. You see a Berean Scholar?
Yeah, I'm looking at it, yeah.
And see, family, they're not writing with what we have, like taking a piece of paper and using a pen and writing this on that. They have, you got to chip, you got to carve. In many cases, they're using this with knives, and they're not even using chisels. They scraping this into hard rock, hard stone. Right, so this is huge. Let me see if I I left my phone upstairs. Let me see if I could find a picture here, and I'll drop it in here so you guys can really see just how big this bridge is. And I'm telling you, this is almost like literally finding a needle in a haystack.
Wow.
Let me see if I can get some images here.
This is blowing me away, Pastor. This was blowing me away. When they wrote down something, what did they write down?
Exactly.
The name.
Let me copy this over. I'm gonna drop this inside the presentation so you guys can get an idea. Because I like I said, I know that you may not get an idea. It may look like, hey, this is something that you can easily find. No, this was nothing but the Most High. That I'm going to give him credit, because for me to be able to find this or see this, it's nothing but him.
Yeah.
To be at this space, right? And I want to make sure you guys see this is not something that should be easily discovered, right? Let me share this here. Let me do this real quick. I'm just cleaning it up here. All right, let me go to the next slide here. This is the natural bridge. Now, for you guys to get an idea, let me zoom it in so you could get a scale.
I see the size of the people towards that bridge.
Yeah, that's what I want to show you guys. This is the scale of the people. Where I saw this writing is over in this area. So, family, this is huge. What do you say? This is about what, 10 to 15 stories high?
Oh, yes. By far, yes.
And see, it's an additional 4 miles when you go around here, man. It's a cave over here. And I was like, man, I'm going up in the cave like I'm trying to find other writings. But it's a trail that goes around, that wraps around here. It is huge. It takes you, you walk long enough, it take you to a fall and all that other stuff. But this is, actually, I would say it wasn't here. It was actually here in this section right here. And it was me just combing it, saying, hey, let me see if there's anything. I'm just looking to see if any type of markings.
And because you knew what you, and that's the amazing thing about it, Pastor, that you saw that, and that you knew what you saw. Because how many thousands of people had to walk by there and say, "Oh, just scratchings on the wall," and kept going.
Yeah. Oops, I went. And you can see this is what, 1884. This inscription. Let me bring it up here. You see right here, family. 1884. And this is as when you research this, they'll tell you this is this was an area of worship. This was like a sacred area. Of course, the colonizers, once they get hold of something, they always mess it up. But any comments, Berean scholar?
I'm just shaking my head, man. It's just, this is like with the other sites we brought out here, and I plead for you guys who were listening. I see a lot of so-called comments in there, but forget about the comments. Search this information for yourself. Look at this stuff that that he's showing in the books. I put a link in there. Find the thing, because there's clips. There's as you say, breadcrumbs left that we can find the information that who we are, and his name is important.
Amen. And family, me and my wife, we just out hanging out. We kind of took a vacation and we just decided to go here. The first time we was with our daughter, and we just went here, and for me, it was like, whenever I see something that I know is a historical landmark, now it's like, okay, let me see if I could find anything that may bear witness. And I know it's nothing but the Most High. But you see, Berean scholar, how I said this is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yes.
Because family, now don't get fooled by the image in the background. Let me show you here. Let me go back here. Right, because the image in the background, this will make you believe that this writing is huge. It's not. Let me get the original picture here. All right, let me fast forward here. Let me go back here. Let me give you the original picture here. Let me just actually copy it over. All right, let me create another slide, because this is not something that is like a large inscription. All right, Let me see here.
And this was the Natural Mall in Virginia.
What's that, Berean Scholar? I'm sorry.
The Natural Mall,
Natural Bridge
in Virginia.
Now I got you saying Natural Mall, right?
So the Natural Bridge. So if you look up the Natural Bridge in Virginia, you'll see the site where you can find it.
Yeah. Got you saying that when to say National Bridge, right?
It happens, you know. I have to blame that on Pastor Richardson.
Now I'm going to copy this over because, like I said, family, I purposely enlarged the image, right? I did some data manipulating so that way it looks like the inscription is larger for the sake of the thumbnail. But let me show you the actual size of the inscription. Let me copy it over right now. All right, let me. Almost feel like I'm in a what's that? The old mirror, a picture within the picture within the picture. So
wow, that's it.
Big difference of the thumbnail, right?
Yeah, you blew it up a little bit.
You see, yep. you know, I had to over exaggerate so that way, I can show it in the thumbnail. But family, that's why I know it's nothing but the Most High.
And that's probably 3 inches, 2 inches,
if that.
And that 16-story bridge, all the stuff around it, and your eyes got caught by that. I guarantee everybody who's walking up beside you was like, what are he looking at? I mean,
yeah, that's how they were looking, right? That's how they were looking. Even my wife was surprised me finding that. Come on, family. You can't deny the truth. So that's why I wanted to kind of let you see the actual size. And when I say that's like literally looking in the needle in a haystack, right? So that's why I wanted to share with the people the actual image. And it was more that I wanted to share, but I just wanted to at least, without going into too deep of the particulars, at least leading them up to this, showing the sources of the other places, the other historical landmarks with the writing, starting with the Back Creek Stone. And family, this is why I love history. I love doing research. And when that Back Creek Stone, when you see that is actually, ancient Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew, if we want to say the language of Judah, that's it right there. Now the others, like I said, and I'm not saying this disqualifies it. Those are more connected to the block letters. Now we're seeing that's more modern, you know what I mean, in the modern times when we start looking at the Decalogue. But the alphabets, but still, they all are still historical information. So I'm not downplaying it because of the lettering. The others point to the law, statutes, and commandments. This one right here is saying, right, this right here, we see Hawa. So any comments, Berean Scholar?
It's just amazing when you get into the details how these unique findings are all over, and people are. You're not going to find this in education. Our school system is not going to tell you about this, but it's proof that our people were here. Those of you who watch the channel anytime, watch Pastor Richardson's channel, We Woke Now, my channel, you know that there's people, there's writings that people migrated over here and came over with this information. Our people were a part of the trip that came over here with the predecessor of Mansa Musa, who took thousands of ships over here. So yeah, people came over here. But I love it when you say you can find hard evidence. Okay, hey, that's Paleo Hebrew. That's the language of the Most High.
Yeah.
And what they wanted to glorify His name.
And remember, family, as we pointed out, starting this this live, the key is the Most High's name is the baseline.
Yes.
The Most High name is the baseline. We go with the baseline, then we're good, right? If we don't start with understanding the Father's name first, then we're going to continue to perpetuate the lies that was given us. So if you don't start with getting the Father's name right, then it's going to be hard to make sense of everything out afterwards. So again, this is not trying to disrespect anyone, but I can say emphatically his name is Yahweh. Yahweh. And we know that Hawa is right there at the beginning of creation because Eve's name extends from Hawa, life. Her name is not Hua. Her name is Hawa. Or Kawa. Either way, how you want to pronounce it. But her name comes from the Father's name. You know, so Berean Scholar, any comments?
And to add to what you're saying, guys, if you found out how many layers of deception went into keeping us from knowing His name, that's why we have this debate right now, because they did not want you to hook up to the name that the Most High wanted us to call on. He wanted us to proclaim His name. He wanted us to say His name, but they didn't want us to know His name. So when you find out the truth, it was almost, I felt almost like when I came into this awakening, I found out all the deception I had by knowing who I am. But then when I found out some of the information I learned in these last month or so, it was like, wow. It went through the same emotions again. The many layers of the deception.
Absolutely. And I went same thing, man. Same thing. And thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate it, family, and for all the contributions tonight. Now let's start from the top here. Yah's daughter, thank you for the love and support. Now wait, please don't. Thank you for the love and support. And we have Bertrand. Thank you for the love and support. Family, let's show some love and support for the contributions that we received tonight. And family, we cannot do what we do without you guys. You know what I mean? And do a lot of and have done a lot of investing with traveling and sources. I mean, a ton of sources, man. I even share with Berean Scholar when I, even writing this book, it's like, man, I didn't realize how many sources I went through. Yep. I'm surprised I could still remember some of them, but in order to get these sources, it costs resources.
Yep.
Costs monies. And I thank the Most High for you guys for helping us to be able to do what we do. So again, without you guys, we'd just be taking the walk by ourselves.
Right.
So any final comments, Berean Scholar, as we get ready to wrap up?
Man, I mean, you just scratched the surface for so much information that I said about those findings, and I hope that everybody in this chat get hungry about finding out, okay, how did we get here? How did they get here? And if you will read this information, go back and find this information, you'll be surprised.
Yeah,
I mean. Again, I dropped the link of you and I. You brought out a lot more stuff in our live we were on, and I dropped the link of that live. If you want that information, you'll be surprised because guys, y'all didn't want us to stay in this land and not know who we were. He left a lot of breadcrumbs for us.
Absolutely. Shout outs to Sister Carol. Didn't know you was in the building. I just saw you scroll up, and thank you as well. Says super chat here. Thank you, Hadassah. Thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate you. And family, let's show Hadassah some love and support tonight.
Amen.
Really appreciate you, sis. Thank you again. And Sister Carol, I want to say peace and blessings to you. Didn't know you was in the chat. You know, would have dropped the link for you to jump on, but really appreciate you. All right. So thank you again, Sister Hadassah. Thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate you. Go ahead, Berean Scholar. You got the floor for the final remarks.
For me, I love to learn. I'm a learner. I'm a natural learning. So this is nothing for me to see information, and it drives me to go in and research it. But it's time for us. It's time out for us to stop listening and hearing many voices. It's time for us to dig ourselves and learn and find this stuff so we can be aware of who we are, so we can relate this to everybody else. We're in the last minutes, not the last hour, the last minutes. And the Most High want us to be the light. If we're not being the light, we're worthless. If we're not being salt, what the scriptures say, Pastor? Yes, we just throw it away, and we're just done. If we're not the salt. So we need to dig ourselves and know who we are and know where we are, because he has left many breadcrumbs that so his people can find out who they are.
Absolutely. So with that being said, family, in the words of Yahweh that he gave to Moses to give to the Israelites, he said to them, "Fear ye not, stand still." And this is coming from Exodus chapter 14, verses 13 and 14. And he gave them this charge. He said, "Fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh." These Egyptians that you are dealing with, we are dealing with, right? These oppressors that we are dealing with would not have power over us ever again. They may exist with someone else. They may be presenting stumbling blocks for someone else. But as for us, they will not have power over us ever again. The Most High will fight for us. But here's the kicker, family. We have to hold our peace. The Hebrew word in that text is not shalom. It's actually charash, which means be quiet. Can't go back. Can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom. There is something special about you, Judah. There is something special about you, Israel, or Yashara'al. When I say Judah, Yahwadah. That is the ancient pronunciation of the word. There is something special about you, Judah. Yahweh only spoke to you, to us, as a nation. And he spoke to no other nation. That's why we are supposed to be what? That light. We're Yah's chosen people that's separated. We're supposed to be the nation that's teaching the nations, not the nations teaching us.
Lion of Judah come upon the earth, bringing unquenchable fire. All the tribes of Israel and the believers stand in power. Speak with authority, worship uncontrollably. There's something about you, Judah. Fire upon the kingdom of darkness. We may suffer for a little while, but joy cometh in the morning.
Judah special, no wonder we were a chosen vessel. In and out of captivity, weaving like a pretzel. Messiah come through the tribe, clean out the bloodline. We disciples, so put us up on the front line. Face to face with crime, cause we ain't scared to grind. When you connect the divine, we stay fresh for time. Evangelize can define, put us in prison in. Worship first, but we always invite the spirit in. Hold revival through a pen, stacking souls in empty bins. Joe in the morning, this a warning, you will never win. Fire upon the head of the serpent, he next tail chirping. It's too late cause your tail's already burning. I don't want your riches, gotta match with your gold streets. Movers all around me, the light shine, no police. The living used to be deceased, resurrected to a feast. Nothing like being in peace at the table with the meat.
Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was the... Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.